busy making everything appear here. Okay, so we have a web server running on a server, and that's our device here to display web pages. Okay, now we're using Apache over Linux here. So our stack here, Apache, Linux, and if the actual hardware there, and this is serving up our web page. A lot of times you hear a LAMP stack, and so it's got two more components here if you have a LAMP stack. These aren't the most common thing in the world anymore. Well, it's still pretty common. Okay, that's a LAMP stack. We're just going to deal with the bottom part of it today. We'll talk about the top part of the stack next time on Wednesday. And so the top part of the stack allows you to have dynamic web page content. So a web page where you go somewhere and it fetches something out of a database using MySQL, and that's where the web page comes from. Okay, so this time just the bottom of the stack, Apache and Linux. As far as how common it is, server survey. Okay, and by survey they mean like an automatic kind of thing. I want kind of a recent one, July, August. August is kind of recent, I guess, August 2015. We'll call that close enough. I never looked at the August 2015 web server survey. Okay, so here is server use and popularity. So, blue line up there, it's Apache. And the blue line comes down here and meets the red, and Microsoft was ahead for like a day, and blue ended up taking the lead still. So they don't have this annotated by which operating system comes underneath. Apache is usually run on Linux, but it can be run on FreeBSD. That's reasonably common. It can be run on Windows. I never heard of anybody who actually does it, but it will run on Windows if you want it to. So most of these are going to be Linux Apache. Some of them are going to be FreeBSD and Apache. Then you have Microsoft stack, that would be Microsoft Internet Information Server, IIS, running on top of Windows. And you can see we're about 24% maybe. And then these ones down here, the green is Nginx. Nginx is another open source server that's normally going to be running on Linux, although I'm sure it runs on FreeBSD or whatever else you like. And it's picking up some market share. Google has their own web server. It runs on Linux typically. And it's picking up some market share here too. And then finally you see this drop down here of Ether. Oh, and NSCA is flatline, so is Sun. So the flatliners there, this is older systems. It used to be the Western ran on Sun architecture. Netcraft has a way to see what things are running. So when I went to Western Washington University and when I taught there, we had this room-sized computer and ran Sun's operating system, which actually will seem very similar to Linux. If you sat down in front of it, you'd find it very familiar. And so anyway, nowadays they appear to use Apache. Oh, but look at it. They're running Solaris 8 up until, this is 2008 there. 2010, they're still running it. And then they're running something else. I think I don't know what they did after that. A lot of times the OS will come in unknown if it's some kind of modified, slightly Linux. Linux comes in many different packaging. Some of them identify as Linux, some of them identify as other stuff. But anyway, so they were running Solaris 8 for a long time, but it looks like they were running Apache on it. I don't know when the last time they ran something other than Apache was, because this only goes back to 2003. So you can see good evidence for the other ones flatlining. Okay, so answer to how common it is. Yeah, it's pretty common. It's the most common configuration on the internet. Okay, Nginx eventually may take over. It's more modern. It's got some new features. Yeah, see all that stuff. Okay. So then there's also another graph down here, just in case you're curious. So the top graph is like all websites. This is active websites, ones that actually get used a lot. And you can see Apache has pretty significant dominance in this market sector. So if you're actually clicking on web pages, there's a way better chance it uses Apache than if you're not. Okay.
Looks like they kind of reflect each other right there.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Is that
Some
2009?
Looks like some went to Microsoft and then.
A major hosting provider switched away at that point.
Oh.
There's a lot of these hosting providers like Rackspace or whatever where you can give them $10 a month and they'll put your website on one of their servers, probably with a bunch of other websites on the same server. And so then if they decide, okay, we're going to move all the websites we host to Linux and Apache, that affects the graph. There's some of them are big enough to actually make it that kind of thing, that kind of dent. Okay, I don't really care about that. Top million busiest. I do think this is interesting. So this is the busiest sites, like the top million. You can see Apache is actually dropping, and rising to meet it is Nginx.
What's the Nginx that you use for?
It's an Apache competitor, serves websites.
Okay, so it's run PHP and stuff.
It'll run all that stuff, yeah. Yeah, you can rip Apache out of the LAMP stack and put Nginx right there, and leave all the rest of it the same. Yeah. Okay, so that's what the servers are. That's what they do. Okay, reminder. So they run on port 80, and so this is a review. Last time we went and we said netcat software.lcc.edu port 80 or 80, and we said something like get / and it returned the web page. So that's what web servers do. And so they sit around doing that, waiting for some kind of send a request to come in. So if we want to actually use the web server, first thing we need to do is inform it that we have a web page for it to display. So I kind of need another user just for today. I'll remove them later. Add user, new person. That's weird. Let's just pick an actual name. Fred. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. My password. And I need a password. Oh. I never mistyped that. Oh, I'm in the wrong machine. There we go. Okay. Now that should work. Okay, new password for Fred. Learn. That seems to be kind of traditional here. Okay. Invalid name? Oh. Oh. Is it fine anyway? Oh, it works. Okay. So, this is Fred software, and type in a password, and it's just like I got a brand new user here. So, yours probably don't look like that anymore, but you know, it's refreshing there, brand new one. Okay. So, if we go to software.lcsc.edu, notice with me we're saying /tilde-seth, let's say /tilde-fred. It's going to tell us forbidden. We don't have permission to access tilde-fred on this server. Okay, so here is Fred. We need to inform the server we have a web page. And the way we do that is we make a directory called public HTML. And then we go into public HTML, and we make a web page, or make a file here. A file. Okay, this is in a file. Okay, so we got a file right here. And so let's go back to here and refresh. It says index of tilde-fred, and there's a file. So we have now posted as something on the web page. That makes you famous. That's what they said in the 90s anyway. Okay, so there's that's how you do that. Pretty simple here. As far as where the whole public HTML thing, if this is a configuration option, like this can be configured or not configured on Apache, but it's traditional. And it's the default, and so that usually if you have some kind of system you can log into and it's running Apache, you can do this. There is a different location for the system web page, which is at var.ww, and we'll be able to look at it here as Fred. And so you can see on here, there's index.html, and if we look at that, this is the main page on my software. You've probably seen that before. And there's some other web pages hosted on here. Most of these link to one place or another, IP Laminator, etc. Actually, all of these are old names. It's called IP Laminator now, but it's called Neuron Analysis before, and then it was called NeuroPill Segmenter. We went through a whole series of names. and all the names got emailed out at some point, and so these are all links to the same spot. Anyway, for the ls-l that, you can see that. Okay, so Fred has a web page now. And that's great. But maybe Fred would like the web page to look not like that. So there's a special name here called index.html. So if we make a file called index.html, this will be the web page that shows up automatically when somebody goes to ~Fred on this server. Okay, so this is my new professional web page. There we go. Okay, refresh. So now we have Fred's new web page here in this index.html file. So we're really getting somewhere. As far as where that A file is, well, we can't see it anywhere, but if we were to put a file right here, we could still find it. All the contents of that directory is public. We didn't provide any link to it, so I wouldn't expect that anybody will find it. But you know, you could just like type in names and eventually get there maybe. You can write a program that does that. So anyway, there we go. Okay. So we got a public HTML directory there. That's great. What else am I supposed to say about this stuff? Okay. Oh yeah, it'll have to be readable by other. So if we go over here as Fred and we say, okay, we don't want anybody reading our index.html. chmod 644 or 600, all mine. Index.html. Go back over here. It's well, not there. Go back over here. It's going to say forbidden. We don't have permission to access. And we shouldn't take that personally. It doesn't mean we don't have permission to access it necessarily. It means Apache doesn't have permission to access it. As it happens, Apache actually has a user. If we look at UPC password, www, there's this user here called www.data, and you can't log in as www.data, but this is the user that Apache uses to go retrieve the web page. So if this user can't read your index.html, Apache can't put it online. So I normally will run a 644 on these. And 644 gives permission to everybody else in my group and everybody on the system. And so it does mean that if any other users wanted to go through here and look through the web page, they can do it. More power to them. They could have done that with the web browser too, you know. So that's fine. I guess you can. It has the critical advantage that you can type ls. So if I go to cd tilde, oh, I can't. Okay, I guess you can. That's funny. CS238. That works. Okay, well, I don't know what I have public HTML set to. Maybe it's 604 or something. Usually I run 644 on this stuff. I do ls-l here. You can see that's 644. Read and write, 2 and 4. So that's 6. Read is 4. So you got 4 and 4. Yeah.
What we can change the Apache setting?
What's that?
Apache setting. Okay, if you go to the web browser.
Web browser over here.
See the. Okay, there was like information down there, right? Apache 4, blah blah.
Oh yeah.
How
yeah.
can I hide this?
Well, you have to make your own air page, and I've never done that one before, so I'm not sure I'm a good guide on that one. See, let me go ahead and do some error here again. chmod 600. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Let's go just do like a file. Let's go for a file too. Okay, not found. So this is the default web page for the system if you have some kind of error that's been displayed. And so what you'd have to do is make a different error page in your directory there. And I bet if you look up the Apache documentation or something, you can call it, where it'll go and find your error message instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's okay. So I'd say go read the manual, but that's going to be the answer there. Okay, so oh yeah, there it is. So it appears there, and readable by others, 755, that would be for a directory or an executable. Okay, I already mentioned that. Oh yeah, they changed something, like put it into var www something, and I undid that because I didn't like it, because it's always been var www, and old dog, new tricks. Okay, I already mentioned it, what's next to HTML? Oh yes, HTML. How to do this. So I use HTML all the time. I use it to teach classes, like as far as part of my job. So I guess I'm like a professional HTML writer. But that said, I only know like maybe 10 tags. So if you've already taken web development classes, feel free to sleep loud for correct my HTML, your choice. Okay, so HTML uses tags, and the entire system is based on these tags, and they open and close sometimes. There's some tags that just mean something. So like if you wanted some text to be read, that's the, I use the font, and it has a color attribute, and I say color equals red, and so that's an opening tag with an attribute. So this part here, that's what the tag's called. This part here, that's an attribute. You kind of think of it like a parameter in programming terms. So then after that, you have your text that's read. You can barely see that. And then after that, you have to close the tag. So slash font. Okay, so the way you close a tag, you have this slash right here, and then you have the name of the tag. And that will match with that one, so that the red starts and it stops. Okay, so that's one type of tag. The other kind of tag you might have, so if you have like a line here, and this is line 1 and this is line 2, if you just write it like this, it'll go ahead and say line 1, line 2, and it'll even include your extra E, because I can't spell line today. But if you wanted it to move on to the next line, the tag is BR for break. And that just means a line break. And there's no like starting to break and stopping to break. It just is a break. You put it there and it's a break. Okay, so that's how that works. Incidentally, this is the same thing as XML. So a lot of data these days is stored using XML, and XML is a reasonable format. That's how would it be me again? I can't sudo, it's Fred. I'll just connect again. Okay, let's go be. Okay, so I want something XML. Do I have one? Oh yeah, there we go. It doesn't really matter. This one will be fine. Java preferences. I don't even know what programs I'm going to find here. Okay, so this is an XML file. It doesn't have hardly anything in it, but you can see everything is structured in tags, including the less than and greater than signs over there. We find a docx file. Do I have a docx file? I don't think most of these are real. I don't think I believe any of these ones. There we got one. Okay, so if we just look at one of these, like cat long set.checklist.docx, it's going to give us junk because it's actually compressed. But if we recover our terminal, or maybe just go get a new one because that one's all used up now, we should be able to unzip it on this checklist.docx. Okay, let's try and unzip it. Okay, so inflated it, and you can see when we take this docx, this is a modern Word document. I made this directory called Word, and also docprops, and so actually kind of in a mess here. But we'll go to Word / I don't know, so like a document.xml. So here's some XML for you. And it looks a little bit gibberishy here, but you can see the basic way we go here is we got a tag here that starts some kind of style and a bunch of other stuff. Here's a tag that starts fonts. And we just got tags that start and tags that stop. Now there's a /w, so that's stopping something, and that's how it's structured. Yeah, there you go. Actually, if you're in CS 101, I probably showed you a line vector graphics thing. Okay. I think that's about clean. There we go. That should have cleaned it all up. I was sort of wonderful my files are gone after I do an RM. Okay, so the tags, uses like that. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language, and you can tell from this that X is a way cooler letter than E, in case you're ever wondering. Okay, so yeah, tags can be nested. You can have one inside another. Sure, we'll do that. Okay, example, make a bold link that's red. Okay, not too hard. Red. Yeah. Okay. More. I have to copy this to class examples or something. Okay, so we got to, I'll replace this web page. Let's make something red. Font color equals red, like I did on the board. And oh, I want it to be bold. That's a B. And this is red and bold. Okay, I think that'll work. Incidentally, Vim decided to make it bold because it was in the bold tags. It did not turn it red, but I'll go so far. Web browser should. Okay, so let's delete Fred. And B. There we go. Okay, so that is red and bold. Perfect. Question: can it blink? Well, let's see. Blink. Okay, and then at the end of this, and blink. No. Let's check it with iSqueezle. That's Firefox distributor. Actually, it's probably Firefox on here. This takes a moment to start. /tilde No, it does not blink. It appears the blink tag has finally been purged. That was about time. For a long time, some browsers supported blink tags, some of them didn't. The reason they didn't was because it's considered annoying. Internet Explorer led the charge in not supporting the blink tag, and so for a long time, any of the Netscape-derived stuff like Firefox, blink would work, and Microsoft-derived stuff it wouldn't. But it seems like yeah, we just got on. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier to add stuff like bold and color through a cascading style sheet?
Probably, but then I'd have to learn how cascading style sheet works.
Oh, okay.
I've used one once for some kind of example. I think I wanted to show my class how to do it for some reason. That's the only time I've ever used it.
Like literally just like make the words blink or?
Yeah, I would. It'd blink on and off. I'm disappointed that it doesn't seem to work anymore.
What? And what would
Well, you
use
do that for it to annoy people. It makes it way harder to read. So while you're at it, you should make the text yellow and put it on a red background.
That'll be better.
Is like for advertisements or something?
I don't know.
Like annoy
You can see why they got rid of that one.
people? Literally just to annoy people.
Pretty much. I guess it brings attention to it. Okay, so as far as tags you should know, there's not that many tags I use, like I mentioned. Bold, red, yeah, sure. Okay, so bold makes text bold. Italic, makes it italic. There we go. And U makes it underline. Not sure I've ever used that one. I always remember it. You notice I underline my space here too. So it does kind of matter sort of where these things are. Oh yeah, A, links. Let's go ahead and make a link. Oh, these are, by the way, all going to show up on the same line, even though I wrote it like that, kind of like I wanted it to appear. Because if we go over here, softdress/tilde, Fred. Okay, you can see they're all on the line. That's because we didn't put any breaks on it. If we wanted to break, then we have to say that, break. Okay. And I don't even have a new line there. So there we go. Now we've got line breaks. Awesome. Okay, so let's make a link. The tag is called A. Shortest tag name ever. Can't get any shorter than that unless you don't name it. Okay, so let's make a link to our school. Okay, this part right here, href stands for hyperlink reference. And so then we're going to put where we're going.
Does it need an arrow at the end of it?
What?
At the beginning?
Like that? It had one.
No, at the very end of it?
That's how it should look.
Oh.
So there we have it. So we can have something and all our time. Okay. So now we have a link. The text I put there, notice it underlines it and colors it in Vim. It's just indicating to us that that is in fact a link. And so if we go and we click on that, it will bring us here. Great. We've got a link. Otherwise, we might not be able to find it. Other stuff. So we did that one. Let's, oh yeah, image. That's a good one. Okay. Let's put an image here. IMG SRC equals. SRC stands for image source. And so if I go over here and I say Wikipedia kitten, we're going to have a page on juvenile cats, and there's a picture. So we decide that we like this picture. If we keep clicking on it, eventually it'll bring us to the actual picture, which is right there. And I have to shrink it a little bit to actually see there. But anyway, there's the picture. So we'll go over here and hit paste, quotation mark, end. Go ahead and put a line break there too. Okay, so if we go back to our web page over here, there it is, and hit refresh, we have our picture.
A little too
A little
big.
bit.
It is a little bit big, yes. But if we wanted to study the cat in depth, like try and figure out what its eyes are looking at, this is great.
Can you see the fleas crawling across it?
Well, I didn't see any fleas. I think we would have
Oh,
seen
no.
there.
Just an expression.
Okay, so we got the picture there. As noted, it is too big. There is actually ways to adjust that on the image tag, and it's a lousy idea. But if we say something like height equals 400 px, I think this will adjust the height. Yeah, there we go. Now it's nice and small. Here's why it's a lousy idea. Our web browser had to go download the entire picture, the large picture, and then shrink it and then display it at this size that we told it to display it at. The reason that's bad is that means if you're running it on your phone, it's got to download the giant picture over your mobile bandwidth, which is probably not even unlimited anymore, and then the phone's processor has to go reprocess the image to shrink it, and then it can finally show up on your screen. It would be a lot more user-friendly or viewer-friendly if we just went ahead and shrunk it ourselves and then posted the smaller version, and then if we want to have the big version available, we can just link to it and have both versions. So you click on it and you go to the big version. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, saves a lot of bandwidth. Okay, now I did that wrong for one reason. So I went ahead and linked to Wikipedia's server. So when the web browser gets this web page, to download it, what it does is, first of all, it downloads the HTML we just wrote and displays this stuff. Then it goes and gets that picture from Wikipedia and sticks it on our web page. And so that means that we're using up Wikipedia's bandwidth to display this, even though it's not their web page. That's generally considered impolite. I mean, it's sort of the equivalent of seeing an outdoor party and wandering in and getting yourself a plate of food and wandering off. So usually if you're going to host it, and usually on Wikipedia it'll have the license information, so you can tell if you're violating a copyright or something. CC by 2.0, so Creative Commons license. So basically you're allowed to share it and adapt it for any purpose, even commercially. The licensor cannot revoke these freedoms, but you have to give appropriate credit, like provide a link to the license and indicate wherever it was from. So you just have to put some little footnote somewhere on your web page that says where it came from, and you're fine. So the licensing is not that bad on this image. So if we want to go ahead and include it, let's grab that link again. We'll go ahead and download it. wget and all of that. And then we have this picture here called Kitten. That wasn't a very good name. File. It's an HTML document. Oh, we didn't get it at all, did we? We actually got something else. I think we need this one. That way. Let's try that one. Okay. File kitten in. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So file actually not only told us it was a JPEG image, has a description. Stray cats seem to be commonplace in many Asian countries. Camera, manufacturer Canon, EOS 5D. So, this guy wasn't just using a smartphone. He's dragging around something big. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and rename it. Kitten in this to like kitten.jpg. Okay, there we go. Convert has a bunch of ways you can change the sizes of things. And so if we want to make it small, it's got a scale, I believe. And let's convert, grab scale. Okay, scale geometry. Maybe it's got an easier way. Convert has, there's a few ways to set the height and width. Okay, size, geometry. Okay, cool. I would sort of like to just set one and have it calculate the other, because that way we don't risk making it, like flat or any kind of that, anything like that. Okay. 400. Let's just say 400. JPEG. Okay. No images defined. Will it go for us? I don't know. You have to think about convert. I didn't think about convert. I forgot to think about convert. But anyway, if you look at the options, you can figure it out, or you can just open it up in GIMP or something like that. I guess the way most people would do this is just go ahead and bring it back to wherever they are. And we can do that pretty easy. We can say exit there, Fred, Asoptera, JPEG to here. And then from there, we can just say GIMP, type in big.jpg. I don't have GIMP installed. Oh, I went ahead and grabbed it here. Oh, whatever. I want to move on with the thing. I don't want to talk about image editing. No, I should do that. Okay, let's copy it over here. Now we're at MLH 310 INST, which I obviously didn't notice last time. So I think GIMP is on this thing, yeah. And so if we open kittenbig.jpg in GIMP, it'll come up in a graphical way. It'll take a little while. And so then we can just click on like image and scale image, and we want to have it so the width is like, say, 250. Sure, there we go, 250 base. Save. Okay, now we want to save this as. And GIMP has a weird thing where.
You have to export now.
Yeah, you do. So we'll go ahead and export then. So then we can say kitten small. Okay, export. Discard changes, sure. Okay. Small to Fred at Asoptera at HTML. Okay. Go back to Asoptera. And there we have it, kitten big and kitten small. So then we can go ahead and change this over here. We had the SRC that was really long, and we don't necessarily want that, so let's, where? Got the cursor somewhere strange? Apparently. Okay, let's clear the whole end off there and redo it. Instantly, it usually works without the quotation marks. Okay, and we want to link this, don't we? Okay, because we're going to link to the big version. Okay, and oh, I did something weird here. I messed up this whole page. Just put it back. There we go. Now I think it's back to normal. Okay, so we go look at this. There we go. Looks basically the same. If we click on it, we get the big version. And now that we've clicked on an image there, if we start clicking on it, our web browser will let us scale in and zoom in and out, which is kind of cool. Yeah, soon. Good. Okay. Now, I talked about it like, being polite. The reality of it is, though, the computers are a much stranger place than reality. So I compared this to if you wander out to a party and you see some party somewhere and you get a plate of food and wander off. Well, the thing is, if you do that from a party and you've left, you're relatively safe. You got your food, and nobody at the party has any way to type a couple commands into a computer and turn your food into a heap of dog poop. But you can do exactly that on a computer. Let me show you an example. Okay, there's some website, Cockeyed, I think, where they've had this image prank up forever. It's kind of a humor site. There we go. Image lifting and okay, so this is the one that I thought was cool. So somebody on eBay decided to take his vacation picture and use it for their profile picture in order to sell like pirated movies or something. and they link directly. So what he did is replace it on the server with this one that has, thanks for looking at my auctions. Whoa, this is not my photo. I stole the movies I'm selling, and so on and so forth. Which appeared on the guy's profile page, and actually he said it was up there for like a month or something. He's updated the page a couple of times, and I didn't see that reference anymore. I've been using this for a long time as an example of why you don't do that. Anyway, and he's got a bunch of different ones where he's done this kind of thing. But yeah, so not that anybody would probably do that. Okay, so let's see. That's image. Oh, headers. So there's headers available for your web page. And so, for example, you can say header 1, this is really big. I used to use header 1. I don't use header 1 anymore. Okay, so now we got this big text up here. The reason I don't use header 1 anymore is because people like to look at the web page on their phone sometimes, and header 1 is too big. So there's other headers, like header 3. Header 3 is smaller than header 1. And so this is, that's not really correct anymore. Let's go ahead and give you a comparison. There is header 1, and there's header 3. 1, 3. This is not as big. Okay. So you got header 1, you got header 3. Header 3 is a little bit bigger than the regular text. So if you want the most beautiful web page possible, you should probably use about header 3 or so. And that way you can have a web page that looks like this. One where everybody is going to really like your web page and keep reading it. You get lots of views from them and that sort of thing. People are always looking at my web pages. Okay, so that's my web design thought for you. Okay, so headers work like that. Oh, lists. Lists are good. Take a list. Okay, list of stuff. LI. And so we can have some kind of list. Incidentally, the list doesn't really have a way to identify it. You just use regular text above your list if you want to. So I'll put World War II air names I think of. Okay. And so then if we, this is, oh, excuse me, I did LI, I was wrong. We need to start our list, and we need to say if it's a numbered list or not. If we want a sorted list, we do OL, ordered list. And that'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll switch it. Okay. So DF19. Okay. 52. That was a Mitsubishi fighter on the Japanese side. Okay, that's enough. Enough of a history lesson. Okay, so we got a list there. We go over to here, and they're going to have appeared with numbers there, which is cool. So if we wanted to switch them, and we wanted to be unsorted, just bullet points, just change that to unsorted list, UL, and now they got bullet points. There you go, piece of cake. And incidentally, you can put more stuff on one of these if you want to, so we could like put a picture of it here, whatnot. That'd be fine. We can do that. Okay, so then the okay, list index. This is list item it stands for. Oh yeah, font color. Let's go to W3 Schools for a minute. W3 Schools is probably the place to go if you want to find out information on any of this stuff. And so there's an example of how to do the font color, exactly like I did on the board. Okay, now, compatibility note. The color attribute of font is not supported in HTML5. Use cascading style sheets instead. CSS syntax, P style equals color colon red. And so they've got an example there. Okay, so we can't make HTML5 compliant code if we don't have it. That said, if you look at the browser support, it's universal. And so we're going to be okay on any browser if we just go ahead and use font. Incidentally, let's look up Blink real quick. Okay, HTML Blink, whoa. It's not in their documentation anywhere.
Maybe they got rid of it.
Yeah, Tutorials Point talks about it. But yeah, maybe it's like even more gone than I was thinking.
The-
Yeah, and here's an example. Blank, this text will blink in Netscape version 5.0. Browser support.
None.
Okay, well, that's
You know,
pretty
that
fun.
would be amazing.
Looks like the entire internet got together and decided they're tired of it.
Yeah, so you gotta go back to Netscape 5 if you wanna see blinking. Probably haven't done this demonstration for a while. I thought it used to work in Firefox. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, W3 schools explains a lot about tags. Okay, I was wrote deprecated. Let's straighten it out real quick, because deprecated and depreciated, if you're slightly dyslexic like me, that's the same word twice. But they actually are different words and they have different meanings. HODS, depreciated. Okay, so Grammarist. That looks like a site where you can get lectured by somebody who knows English better than you do, or at least they think they do. It's being very slow, so obviously don't have great bandwidth. But anyway, it'll pop up in a minute. So deprecated means that, in computer science terms, it means that it's something that's going to go away in a future interface, future version of the interface, but is still around for some reason. So this mentions deprecate traditionally means to express disapproval of, and it's gained another sense to disparage or belittle. Okay, so when something's deprecated, it means that in general the community of users for whatever this thing is part of that's been deprecated doesn't really like it anymore, as in they're disparaging it and belittling it, and so there's a good chance it'll go away at some point. Depreciate, something that's lower in value, like my car depreciated a great deal when a tree fell upon it. And so then you can, so anyway, it goes down in value. So these kind of go together. I mean, they're related, but they're not the same thing. So you see deprecated a lot in computer science terms. Don't pronounce it depreciated. It really does mean something different. Okay, what's that?
Does it mean like something's getting older? Like an older tag or something?
No, not necessarily age. Old isn't depreciated or deprecated, and that's one of the first ones. Yeah.
Their blank tag is under their JavaScript,
Yeah, you can make it blank with JavaScript or CSS or other more modern
but it's
ways.
not supported by anything but O, and it's obsolete version 15.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay. And, if you ever have trouble, think about it this way. It's deprecated because nobody appreciates it. Okay. Don't be a deprecated employee. Okay, so the other stuff here. Let me go and look at a standards test. Okay. There's HTML standard tests out there at W3 Validator. So let's go validate. Let's see this edu. This will be fun. /Fred. Okay, 4 errors, 4 warnings. We can put an iHeart Validator thing on our web page or something. Okay, so no character encoding found, unable to determine parse model, no doc type found, an unknown root element, aborting validation, no character encoding declared a document level. No document type declaration will parse without validation. Document type does not allow element H3 here. Document type does not allow element font here. Document type does not allow an element break here. Okay, so it has a few errors. Let's set about making it a little bit more complete. Okay, first thing, we didn't bother to even tell it what we were doing. There's an HTML tag that you can use to specify you're about to write some HTML. And so we'll specify this whole thing as HTML. Okay, let's see, does it have another check here? Do I have to refresh? 18 errors. Hey, we're making progress. Okay, let's ignore the warnings for a minute. No document type declaration implying doc type HTML system. Oh, okay. Let's go steal a document tag. I probably have one on here. Yeah, there we go, doc type. So these doc type tags, these indicate what type of document you're about to use. And so I normally write an HTML4 document, and I use the Roots HTML specification here. So we'll just go ahead and stick that up at the top here, and then it will know what document type we're writing, as opposed to just guessing correctly. Okay. So, can we, let's get rid of that. Refresh this. 17 errors. Hey, H1, document type does not allow element H1 here. Well, yeah. An HTML document is normally divided into two parts. You have a head and you have a body. The head declares things about the entire page, like you could put a background color there. Usually I use to specify a title that shows up in the web browser tab. So you can see up here it says software.lc.edu/totally-fred. So if we want to have a head, this is going to be the head up here. That's the end of the head. And it will have the body down here. And the end of the body will be right down here. Okay, so there we go. And in here, I'll go ahead and add a title. Okay, so let's go back to here and take a look at our change. It looks the same, but now you can see up here in the tab title it says Fred's web page. Cool. And down here, if we refresh it, we'll probably reduce our number of errors. In fact, we only have one error now. It's right down here. The attribute given above is required for an element that you've used, but you have omitted it.
Okay.
I got this height equals 400px that I don't need, so actually, that's maybe part of the problem. Okay, oh, it says, for instance, most HTML and XHTML language types, the type attribute is required on the script element, and the alt attribute is required for the image element. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that too. And we get rid of lots of errors. First of all, let's take the height back out of there and resize the image. We don't need it anymore. And we'll add alt. Okay, here's what alt is for. Suppose for some reason our picture there doesn't work. Actually, let's make that not work. Okay, kitten small.jpg, do kitten, I don't know, small .jpg. There we go. Minor change, right? But the file name's different. It's not going to find it. So we go over here, not here, go over here, and now it has the broken image icon. And it's still linked to the big version, so if we click on it, we can still see the kitten. Okay, so let's go ahead and include some alternate text. And alternate there is, what do you do if the image isn't around? Okay, we're relying on the user to fill in the gap. So now we look at that, and it doesn't work.
Hover your mouse over it.
What's that?
Hover your mouse over it.
Okay. Did I do it wrong? Yeah, probably.
Oh,
I think it has to go after this sort of.
Did I hit refresh?
oh,
Oh, there it is. Imagine a kitten here. Yeah, I just hadn't hit refresh yet. Okay, so there we go. Let's put the kitten picture. And smaller. Okay. So now if we do it, it looks like that. Okay. And so let's refresh this. And congratulations! Was tentatively checked out as HTML 4.0 and transitional. We successfully performed a formal validation of it. Oh, but there's a problem. No character encoding found. Well, there's one warning. No character encoding declared. Okay. That would be close. And it has a helpful link. Click on this tutorial here if you want to know how to do it. Okay, so we are probably in ASCII actually. Yeah, well, we can do that. We won't do that right now.
Imagine if you put some big like Google's search page on there and there's like 2,000 errors or something.
There might be.
That'd be pretty funny.
In fact, I got an idea. We actually have a web development program here, so the odds are our web page actually gets run through this like once a semester. Oh, but look at that. It did in fact find some errors. This is a different checker, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, well, there's errors in it. Not a surprise. I'm surprised that it looks so different. If we go to ours, it'll look the other way. Yeah? Okay, apparently it depends which web page, what the checker looks like. Okay, so there we go. We got a more or less valid web page. Cool. So let's see, body title. Yeah, we did all that stuff. Okay. So like I said, that's actually all I use of HTML, even though I write HTML multiple times a week. And probably I should learn some more stuff. Oh, here's one thing that I didn't mention. No, I didn't link my email address. It doesn't mail to. You can use it to link things. All the spammers pick up on it. Yeah, I can't see like anything that I. There's one that's for this stuff. It's like script or something. Oh yeah, here's another thing now. So suppose you're on this web page and you're like, oh, I really like how he made that into kind of a funny font there. How did he do that? You just hit View Page Source and pre-formatted. So you just there's a tag. You can go ahead and take that one. Now it's been discussed in class, so I guess now it's invalid for homework 12. What do you know? Okay, so anyway, stuff can be taken quite easily like that. If you see something, just go ahead and grab it. Now, it's already there.
Cool.
Wait, what's this? 3 of them? And actually redirects to the right spot. Anyway, I don't know how many O's it goes for. Okay, View Page Source.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so feel free to borrow what you like.
Pretty readable.
Using
Pretty easy to
font.
manipulate.
Yeah, definitely.
That's only like 4 lines though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so there's a lot of
Just the
code
lines
actually
are-
behind this page to make all the buttons and things work. We'll make web pages with working buttons next time that run Python scripts. It'll be fun. Okay, but anyway, so that's the basic web page there. And yeah, still stuff, good. Okay, so other stuff about this. Logs, you guys already know about the logs, but if we go to var www and, var log Apache, and cat access.log, grep Fred, we can see that Fred's webpage has been getting a bunch of hits. And, whoa, they're not even all from the same IP. It looks like somebody, some of them are from the validator. Okay, well, fine. Fred isn't world famous yet. But anyway, so you can actually see hits on your own webpage, which is kind of cool. You can see where they're from if you do like cut, delimiter, a dash, field1. And then you get all these, and then sort, and then unique. And so these are the web pages that have requested it. And it's like me and the validator, but whatever. Okay, so there's that. Spiders. So spiders are kind of a funny thing. The real ones are funny too. But they follow, the web, World Wide Web. It's like a web of links, right? You got things that are linked to other things. And so if you visualize the web kind of as in a graph form, you can imagine having a spider follow it. So you got some kind of web page here, Soptra has a main page, and then links to other ones that are all on Soptra, and not all of them are necessarily linked like that. And sometimes there's like weird circles and things. You got some kind of web. But then you'll have other places. I'm sure there's a link for Soptra somewhere to LCSC. .edu, the university's main page, and so at some point you're going to come over into this other network. And I'm pretty sure there's links to other stuff too. And so you got these other links that go out to different servers areas. And so what you do with a spider is you just take some kind of node and you say, okay, I'm going to start here. I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to pick another place. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And so we're going to move around and find all of the content. And you can do this like this. And you can keep track of where you've been, which would be cool, so you don't go back to the same spot. If you run into a dead end, suppose this genuinely is a dead end here. Suppose it's just linked to a page that doesn't have any links. Well, you hit a dead end. So you just backtrack and make a different decision at the next one. And eventually you can have explored the entire World Wide Web. Not the entire internet, mind you. The internet is all the computers that are connected to the internet, and not all of them have web pages hosted on them, and so you haven't seen the ones that don't have a web page on them. But the entire World Wide Web. Okay, so you have some spider, and you probably release more than one. So you also set off the blue spider, and say the blue spider goes over here, and I don't know how sophisticated the data structures are in this algorithm. Maybe it's like, oh, hey, the green spider went there. We'll go ahead and go over here, and we'll go over here, and we'll start exploring somewhere else. And so that's a web spider. This is how Google and Yahoo and Bing, I'm trying to remember the other type of cherry, and all of these work. They send spiders around that pick up where everything is on the internet. And of course they can also find other stuff, if somebody happens to go through one of their servers to something. And in which case they'll probably set a spider there. So anyway, spiders archive this stuff. So it gets archived automatically. So if I go to google.com and I search for Ceph Long Linux, I'm probably going to find, well, LinkedIn. But somewhere down here I'll probably find my actual web page. Let's go ahead and put a CS228 in here. Hey, there we go. CS228, Linux and Tools. My web page. So you can see it got found pretty quickly. Did I spell my name wrong? No. Okay. Google uses kind of a loose matching algorithm on this stuff. And so it usually will respect it if you put some quotation marks around it. And
It's
yeah.
actually worse.
Well, there's less. Oh, you're right. I didn't get some of them. Okay, whatever. Yeah, LinkedIn. Okay, so anyway, it finds stuff automatically. So this isn't like a world famous web page or anything. I don't think anybody who doesn't go to this college has ever seen it. But Google has still archived it, and you can still find it if you use the right search. And so if you put something on the internet, it will probably get archived by Google and everybody else at some point. So you got to keep that in mind, yeah.
So the only way I keep spiders away from my server by hot access, right?
HT accesses?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. You can make a file called robots.txt that you put in the index that indicates to the robots they shouldn't look. But there's no way to guarantee it because you see, the robot is just another viewer of your web page. And so if you want to technically prevent the robot from seeing it, as opposed to in a courtesy sense, then you just have to take the website offline or protect it with a password wall or something. There is a file called robots.txt that some robots respect and some don't. If I search for robots.txt, now I'll find an organization about it, and mentions web robots, wanderers, crawlers, spiders, programs that traverse the web automatically, and robots.txt, it explains what this file is, and you can say you want to disallow robots, and can I block just the bad robots? In theory, yes. In practice, no. If the bad robot obeys robots.txt and you know the names it stands for, then you can create a section to exclude it. But almost all bad robots ignore robots.txt. Because why would it? I mean, it's a bad robot, right? This is why in the in all the movies when the serial killer approaches, they don't just put a sticker on the door that says, "Please do not enter if you're a serial killer."
Makes a fair point.
Yeah. So anyway, you can put up a little white picket fence about this high.
Though that would be a weird serial killer.
Yeah. I should have some kind of movie about that. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, spiders. Okay, so directories without index.html. You notice in automatic, with Fred, as soon as we put the index.html, we started to not have a listing of files. Well, occasionally you might find it useful to have a directory where when you put in a file, it makes a public link. So for example, the class examples directory for this class. If we go back out of there and just go in as me as a Sopra, CS228, okay. So on the examples directory here, I like to be able to put a file here and then have all of you able to look at it without having to remember to make a link to it. Because if I have to remember to make a link to it, I'll never remember, or remember some of the time or whatever. Okay, so there's just no index.html. And so then when we go there to, it's not for example, I guess the notes is like that too. We get this file listing. And there's a couple things it does. It eliminates files with a tilde on the end automatically. And it has like last modified day, you know, you can search for size or whatever. And incidentally, you can actually put descriptions and do a lot of stuff with this. There's files that manipulate it and allow you to do that. So if you wanted to have this look different, you can make a file to describe how this page should look. This is just the default view. And so if I wanted to like hide all the examples, I don't know. Okay, now refresh it. So, yeah. And actually, I did think about that when I was thinking about where to post the, what do you call it, example from today. Because if I go post that index.html file here, it's going to obscure all the rest of the examples. Okay. Post it into directory or something. Okay, they're back. So what else was I going to talk about? No, it's 9th. Let's see that. Links, yeah. Okay. So next time I want to do data-driven web page. So this is not considered a data-driven web page here. It's got some data, like some information associated with it, but it doesn't dynamically adapt to it or anything like that. I think I might actually still have my example on here. Maybe just a secure corp. Okay, forbidden. I'll have to get it back up and going. I've got this website which is like probably full of security vulnerabilities, and so that's probably why I moved it. Oh no, it's here. Oh yeah, it works. Can I log in? I have a user Fred. I forgot his password. I probably have to hack in. Oh well, I'll show you that next time. I can do that. That'd be fun. I can do it because I wrote the page to have a vulnerability that lets you do that, but you know. Okay, so I'll talk about data-driven web pages. This is kind of a primitive way to do web pages, honestly. There's a number of modern improvements here, and you'll learn about them if you go take like CIPT, whatever. There's like a whole bunch of letters. They're like C and I and P and other things.
CIPT.
TPT, okay, there you go. Anyway, they'll tell you how to make a real web page that people actually want to visit. Part of the thing about web pages, there's a little bit of an art to it. I mean, you can see how this is artistically designed with the correct length lines to convey the content, and section headers that have good contrast, and text that has good contrast, you can see it easily. I put a lot of thought into that, you can tell. And so web development is a lot more of a creative process. I actually know a web developer.
I mean, they are all
And
about.
I'm betting that she's actually got everything in lines. Wait, no, there it is. Okay, that's one of her pages. And so here's the difference between a web developer's web page and my web page. First of all, we're still waiting for it to load. But secondly, you can see this is like fancy, right? And if you click on this one, it probably has a different, different layout here and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's like got posts and a background, and you know, the color has been thought about. I mean, the color scheme matches, right? It's all like different shades of blue or something. And yeah, you got other stuff.
It is
and,
designed for human interaction.
Yeah. You know, it's got a picture that was carefully picked, so the background in the picture kind of matches the background in the rest of it. And yeah, okay. So, if you want to learn to be a web developer, you need to appreciate art in some sense that I don't. Nobody would hire me to be a web developer. And so, when you're looking at the emphases areas and for the degree, if you feel artistic and like you like to make things that look nice, you might want to think about going the web development route. Otherwise, you may want to stick with the regular. I would not have done well going that route, but you know, more power to those who can. And somebody needs to make things that look nice. So that's yeah. I have trouble sometimes understanding why things have to look nice, which is part of why I would be a lousy web developer. Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, yeah.
The public underscore HTML.
Yeah.
How do you get that to work?
You just make a directory, NKDIR public underscore HTML. It has to be exactly like that. No capitals. HTML has to be spelled correctly. Once when I was teaching CS 101 at a different school where it's different than here, somebody was asking me after lecture, so what was the public Hotmail thing you were talking about? Yes, it's got to be like exactly HTML, nothing else. It doesn't work if you write Hotmail there.
No, I missed that.
So, and then the other thing is that can go wrong here.
You're gonna take CS, right?
Currently typing. Okay, so I have mine CH modded. It looks like they actually have it set 711, but it has to be like you got to include some permissions on this side. 755 would work pretty good too.
So this all classes, all blanks and stuff.
If it's broken on your screen, it goes.
V60?
There goes this.
You're gonna take
Okay,
capstone?
cool. We'll see you all next time. Data more pages and SQL injection attacks. Pretty fun.
Take it to me. Is it easy? You didn't know Salami. You took it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. That would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you combine two examples, and by mashing them together, you can mostly get homework 11 together. So,
I don't know if
okay, so you got open up and
ABC. Maybe
open
C.
up has some examples where you have store true.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think.
So these are the
Python can work that.
options where it just changes something, like in this one it was dash G, but in the homework 11.
So it's like a tool to make parameters for
Don't do
Linux.
this.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
not before, right?
Okay.
And so this one there is going to be
Actually, they
analogous
thought
to
it
in
me
homework
before,
11.
but here you just
I
have
might
one.
say 420, but I'm.
But then for these others, A and
You just
D,
got one.
you have
No, I
to
can
specify
take-
something additional, and so you want to make, for an example, it's the
I can take analyze.
prime lister.
I'll do it.
And
So the ones
so
with
here,
PY.
yeah,
I'm not sure, I think it's hard.
yeah.
'Cause
Anyway,
I
if you match those two things
I
together,
agree
you can
with
get
that
homework
structure, yeah.
expand.
No,
Okay.
text structure first.
Yeah, see, I mean, for me, it's gonna be hard.
No, because.
This is structure is
For
gonna be
11
next
you do,
one,
yeah.
like this.
And this is Python.
Yeah, I thought that.
You still have to compile.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy.
Yeah.
Just 250.
Then you're using-
This is like maybe
You're
I'm
using
gonna go to the
ArcParse
system,
to do a lot of work
IT.
for you.
IT.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh, I have a question. Took me a while to realize I had a question.
let's see.
Let's say
So how do I know
two
which
semesters or three.
Completely forgot the command to
I will do this one.
comments.
I know that. I'm pretty sure.
Comments?
And the application
You mean like
can be
the-
to develop
your
a
records?
Microsoft
Politics
5.6.
for graduation.
Yeah, like
You
the
don't
stuff
select
that you
software